Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi guys! So we are from 4B class. Today we will tell you about how important the literacy in tourism on social. So let me introduce myself. My name is Safra Cikapajane and my partner.
I am Fadila Tiara Ramadhani.
I am Fadila Aisyah. I am Rafa Rashika.
I am Sazwaniala as a host.
Okay, so stay tuned.
Okay, firstly, want to tell you about the literation. Okay, Rafa, what is your opinion about the literation?
I'm iteration from the past 2 years based on the input rate of work reading habits. Indonesia finally ranking 16, which is indication by the lack of time reading per week with an average of 6 hours. This reading habit is also known as literary culture. While international, the support for encouraging literacy culture is also marked by the celebration of International Literacy Day every September 8 every year.
Okay, thank you, Rafa.
Okay.
Okay, Fanny, what is your opinion about the literation?
Literacy in Latin is referred to as literatus, which means people who learn. Totally speaking, literacy is a general term that refers to understand abilities and skills in reading, writing, speaking, uploading, and solving problems in everyday life. In other words, literacy cannot be separated from a person's ability to speak. Meanwhile, in EDC or Education Development Center, literacy is defined as an individual's ability to use his potential. Ability is not limited to reading and writing. UNESCO also provides an understanding of literacy, which is a set of real skills, especially one's cognitive skill in reading and writing, which are influenced by competency in the academic field, national context, institution, cultural values, and experience.
Okay, thank you, Fanny. Thank you, Fanny. What about you, Chika?
Okay, in my opinion, literacy is a person's ability to process and understand information while doing the reading and writing process. In its development, the definition of literacy always evolves according to the challenges of the times. If in the past that definition of literacy was the ability to read and write, now the new definition of literacy shows a new understanding in an effort to interpret literacy and learning. So now, the expression literacy has many variations, such as media literacy, computer literacy, scientific literacy, school literacy, and so on. So, the essence of critical literacy in a democratic society is summarized in 5 words. The first one is understanding, second one is covering, third is using, fourth is analyzing, and the fifth is transforming text. So all of them refer to competencies or abilities that are more than just the ability to read and write. So and etymologically, the term literacy itself comes from the Latin literature, which means people who learn. In this case, literacy is closely related to the process of reading and writing. So I think that's enough.
Okay, good enough, Chika. Thank you so much. And turn around to you. What
Okay,
is your opinion?
in my opinion, literacy has traditionally been thought of as reading and writing, although these are essential components of literacy. Today, our understanding of literacy encompasses much more. Alberta Education defines literacy as the ability, confidence, and willingness to engage with language, to acquire, construct, and communicate meaning in all aspects of daily living. Language is explained as a socially and culturally constructed system of communication. I think enough from me, Alia.
Okay, thank you so much, Fadira. Okay, there is our opinion about literation. Okay, so now we all know about what is the literation. So all of you must have done some literation about tourism in Palembang City, right? Okay, I want to ask you, Fadira, what is your literation about tourism destination in Palembang?
Okay, more information about literation tourist destination in Palembang. In my opinion, the scenery at the Kapitan Village Cultural Heritage Complex, Seberang Ulu Palembang, South Sumatra, was a little different from the usual days. The lanterns from the Cap Gomeh event a few days earlier were still visible hanging from several corners of the old building with a thick Chinese and Dutch architectural feel. In one of the halls of the old building, Dina Juliana Anwari and several of her colleagues seemed engrossed in chatting with dozens of children who, on average, had just entered PAUD and elementary school age. Standing that day, Dina and her colleagues, who are members of the Brave community, are concluding interactive teaching and learning activities that they have been doing routinely since last week. Teaching and learning activities that they have been doing routinely since last year.
Okay, thank you so much. So informative, right? Okay, what about you, Chika? Your literation about tourism destination.
Okay, I think I have one of tourism destination about in Palembang. So this community, which focus on community empowerment, was founded by Dina and several other volunteers since early 2018. According to Dina, who is also the head of the community, they want to provide education for children who are less fortunate in terms of economy or those who drop out of school because they have lost their motivation to learn. Until now, this committee has nurtured about 30 PAUD age children and around 30 local youths who are still in school but whose parents are economically disadvantaged or who have dropped out of school. I think it's my opinion about DRI's opinion.
Okay, so thank you so much. What about you, Fanny? What is your literation?
Enchanted Kampung Kapitan is indeed one of the cultural heritage in the city of Palembang, which is located in Seven Ulu Village, a dense settlement on the banks of the Musi River, which is directly opposite the Kutu Besar Port, Palembang. Unfortunately, its existence is now marginalized. In fact, in this area, there are several 400-year-old buildings that are rich in historical value. This village is a silent witness to the entry of the Chinese Ming Dynasty to the archipelago after the collapse of the Sriwijaya Kingdom in the past. Indeed, the local government has registered this area as a protected cultural heritage. However, the management still seems half-hearted.
Okay, okay, thank you so much, Fanny. So informative, like Chika and Dira's before. What about you, Rafa?
Okay, on the other hand, the owners of the surrounding community and the sense of belongs to the culture heritage is still minimal. Understandably, this area is generally inhabited by the middle to lower economic class. Odd jobs, construction works, protects fishermen, and not even a few who do not yet have jobs, let alone to think about cultural heritage, even for their daily life is difficult. The condition of the area is exacerbated by the lack of sanitation. The crime rate in this area is also quite high.
Okay, thank you so much, Rafa. Okay, Fanny, is there any problem that this community facing through this tourism destination?
Okay, there are perhaps problems of the community disturbed in a conscience who work at one of these well-known private banks. After asking permission from the head of the Kapitan Mulyadi Chow House, Dina finally, by cooperating with several of her colleagues from the community, ordered to move. these volunteers all inspired there to move, establish a learning house and periodically and take turns providing literacy education to children in the area. Okay, that's all.
Okay, okay, thank you, Fanny. And then move to Chika. Do you know some various form of learning this international tourism destination?
Okay, I think I know some various forms to learning tourism destination. There are various forms of learning. First of all, is starting from improving literacy, and then teaching English and creative activities to build motivation by bringing in inspirational figures. Sometimes they also invite other communities in Palembang and South Sumatra. I think that's all.
Okay, thank you so much, Chika. And then move to Dira. Okay, thank you, Chika. And then move to Fadira. What is your addition to providing this academic skill tourism destination?
Okay, about academic skill and tourist destination, in addition to providing additional academic skills, the Berani Bergerak community is also aggressively conducting tourist awareness education. So far, the Kapitan Village cultural heritage has not become a tourist icon that attracts foreign tourists. According to Dina, this is because the management of the surrounding area has not been maximized. The surrounding environment has not been neatly arranged and even looks shabby. It needs serious attention from the community and guidance by stakeholders so that the place can attract more tourists. I think enough from me.
Okay, thank you so much, Fadira. Okay, Rafa, what is your contribution to this improve this condition?
Introduction to improve this condition, the community tried to instill a culture of disciplines and clean living in children. Slowly, they instill a sense of responsibility toward the environment, starting with small things such as teaching children to throw garbage in this place and keep the environments clean. Children are trying to make souvenirs for tourists. They are also taught to produce and market souvenirs such as the typical Palembang Kemplang scratch. The community continues to build communication with village officials, parents of students, and local residents, including employment local youth. Almost once a month, they hold a meeting to pitch tourist offerings.
Okay, thank you so much, Rafa. They're so informative. Okay, we move to the biggest icon in Palembang City, which is Musi River. Okay, what is your opinion about the tourist attraction based on natural characteristic the Musi River area?
Okay, we talk about Musi River. Maybe, in my opinion, creating tourist attraction based on natural characteristic the Musi River area has been create tourist attraction with the characteristic it has are historical, cultural, religious tourists, shopping as well as the river itself. In support tourist attraction that the government or people hold events yearly to complete the destination tourism. In addition to efforts equip and improve facilities and ease of access. Okay, in addition to efforts equip and improve facilities and ease of accessibility that can support tourist areas, according to Peter Mason, to support the theory Middleton about product components, tourist product components still based on three components. The main ones are attraction, tourist facilities or amenities, and accessibility. Characteristic of old settlements with waterfront building architecture and pristine swims have rural characteristics such as agrotourism, fields and plantation can be an attraction in itself. Musi River area. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Fadira. It is so informative, right? About our attraction, tourist attraction in Musi River. Okay, we move to Fanny. What about you, Fanny? what about the facilities supporting tourism in this Musi River?
Okay, the facilities supporting tourism in the river area Musi is still very minimal, so accessibility to attraction is still very lacking. Good access from land as well as from the river. Aside from that, the condition of the river is not well maintained due to industrial waste, pollution, and the amount of garbage in the river. That's all.
Okay, thank you so much, Fanny. We move to Chika. What is your experience access comfortable in this tourist attraction?
Okay, I think to creating experience, access, comfortable, and interesting adventure in the Musi River, there are tourist attraction that become attraction of visiting tourists to the Musi River. Not only can looking at the natural beauty of the river and Ampera Bridge, but the tourists can enjoy the object. Other tours such as historical tours, shopping, culture, and so much more. According to Hari Aprianto, by 2015, connectivity between tourist objects to the convenience of accessibility tourist area can provide harmony in the area. Convenience is obtained with the arrangement and separation the circulation path through which the vehicle passes, pedestrian and water transportation used by visitors. The formation of a pattern of travel paths that from comfort with pacing, the facility is interesting, as well as regional markers to attracting visitors to make a movement to a tourist attraction in the area, so that it can provide convenience for tourists in do their activities. There is a lot of potential tourism potential in this area by being supported by existing attraction other than the river than bridge. Tourists can not only just enjoy nature tourism, however, can also enjoy other attraction which is in the area. So that area, it can create experience separately for tourists who visit. I think it's from me.
Okay, thank you so much, Chika. Okay, we move to Rafa. What is your statements into this tourism?
Strengthening vegetation characteristic. This area is an area densely populated settlements. In next to it there is market activity traditional and ship activity that very solid. The presence of vegetation on this tourist area has a row of palm. There is area curtain so that its excitement is still very minimal. The presence of vegetation is required in the area to support tourism activity. The vegetation that use as a fun fiction that can tolerate to the needs of each beach, namely as a very safe indication, rain formation, aesthetic and absorbent pollution. Apart from that, there are also 10 locals who have been in the area. And the vegetation is a characteristic of an area that can be used as an identity booster. With planting this vegetation is the comfort of tourists will improve and environmental equality. The area was also improved. The addition is need vegetation in the area because it is still the life of vegetation that can support tourism activity as well as to improve the quality of the environment in Musi River area.
Okay, thank you so much, Rafa. Okay, from all this, our guests, we know that this conclusion about literacy is about tourism is very important to be given to the community because the community is an important factor to support and become an important factor for the development of the tourism industry in an area. Tourism in Palembang itself is actually very much, but there are still many that have not been managed and developed properly. So there are still many people who are unfamiliar with it. Okay, I think enough for us. Thank you so much 1, 2, and 3. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi
Warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh.